Happy Hump Day. Hope you are doing well today and got a chance to watch yesterday's video. But today's video is going to be on a kind of a hot topic that I have just nice discussions with a lot of people, including many of my students. Hang on while I just adjust this. It is a thing that becomes a problem when it doesn't need to be. And if you see like a swelling right here in my face, it's this tooth, and I'm on 2 antibiotics as of today. The other one was not doing its magic, so we've added another one. Boy, the tooth pain has subsided, but I need something to help with this. And I didn't let it go. I was on it, went to, it started Saturday and I got in as soon as I could. So, if you're a praying kind of person, please pray that this will subside right here and the medicines will work, okay? So let's talk about this topic, which, yes, is a hot topic. And people will get all upset. People who I had one lady come to this page, and she was convinced that when and she was a person, you don't have to get in this way, but she decided to go to take the 2-year course, and she did it that way, and she couldn't get anybody to hire her. That is a lament that I've heard for the last 28 years, okay? And she attributed that to lack of experience. I don't have experience, so that must be why they're not hiring me. And she didn't say must be, she just assumed that, yes, I don't have experience, they're not hiring me, that's the reason. I'm here to tell you, number one, that's true if you're applying for jobs that you are not qualified for. And to be honest, you're not qualified for any of them. Even after the 2-year degree, you're like, oh, how can you say that? You're not. It's the attorney willing to take a chance, but they're not going to train you. So I know it's a horror, right? But they don't offer training. So then, Leslie, why are they not hiring me then? I mean, if you say they're willing to hire me, they are willing to hire you as a beginner. But a lot of people apply to jobs that are way above them. And they think that they went to a 2-year degree, went through that program, or got a certificate because you don't know the field. And you're innocent, you're naive about it because you haven't been in it, right? It's not your fault. You have to be able to hit the ground running on day one. And you're like, well, why don't they offer training? They don't have time. I've covered this in many, many videos. So watch as many videos as you can and take notes. And understand that you have to be able to explain how you're going to help the attorney. If you just send the same cover letter and resume out to every job out there, that's not really telling them how you're going to help them. You're making an assumption, and you're thinking, well, they'll see the degree, or they'll see that I have a bachelor's in English and that I will be extremely valuable. Well, hands down, if you have a bachelor's in English, that will be helpful in the law firm, but it's not required. But they won't hire you because you have a bachelor's or an associate's or whatever it is. That's not the reason they're going to hire you. They have to see something that they know that you understand what you're going to be doing every day. And let me tell you, it's not taught in those 2-year degree programs or the certificate program, because they're taught by lawyers. And lawyers are not the ones who manage the work. It's paralegals who manage the work. And so people who have been taught by paralegals understand then what they have to do. But it's not taught by lawyers, And unfortunately, the schools and the degree program folks only hire lawyers usually to teach. And the reason is they have to do that and have people who have like a PhD, or with a lawyer, it's a Juris Doctorate, but a doctorate degree, in order to comply with the state's or the country's regulations, okay, regarding being an accredited college. So they don't have the freedom to hire paralegals in most of the colleges. And that's a sad state of affairs, because the paralegals know what to do. And they know the everyday work world of the paralegal, obviously, but that is not being taught. I will guarantee you that. And when I would see this over many, many years, that people were stymied as to why they weren't getting hired, and they thought, oh my gosh, I just spent all this money, or I just tried all this and I feel so defeated. Time and time again, I've heard this in a group I was in back in the 90s that had 10,000 people plus in it. And we would get new people coming in all the time saying, no one will hire me. What the heck is this? And knowing who to apply to is number one. But how are you going to explain how you're going to help the attorney? Feels like a puzzle, right? But it doesn't have to be. So I don't want you to think that it's because of lack of experience. There are many attorneys out there who want to hire people with zero experience. There are. And you don't have to have an internship or externship in order to get hired. Almost every single paralegal who's ever started their job has zero experience. So please remember that. But they were able to explain how they were going to help the attorney. You see, attorneys know that just because you went to a 2-year degree program for paralegals in paralegal studies, or you have a 4-year degree, or you have a degree in American history or political science, or whatever it is, they know that that doesn't give you that knowledge of what to do every day for them as their assistant. That's the reality of that. So what is the step? Well, join me in my class in August if you're able to. But other people have gone on. I had someone come on to my YouTube channel, and she sent a cover letter out, and she tailored that cover letter to the area of law that the attorney was working in, and she landed the job. So do you need to take any course to get into this field? No, you don't. No, the one thing you have to understand is know your paralegal regulations for your state. Okay? Hi, Sophia. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for praying. I need all the prayers I can get for this, so that the medicines will work and it will start to bring this down, the swelling down. I talk about this subject in a lot of videos, and some people believe it and others don't. And it's not about me selling my course. It's like, don't take the course. But listen to what I'm saying. It's not about the lack of experience. Is that you're not communicating how you're going to help the attorney. And they need to know that. They're not sitting there knowing that when they get your resume and cover letter. They just don't. And my students know that that's so important that I take them through that. There's a whole module dedicated to cover letters, a whole module dedicated to dissecting job ads, a whole module dedicated to the interview. And then the rest is dedicated to what you're going to do on the job and how you're going to handle all of it as a paralegal. What way, how do you handle it? And what will you be doing? Okay, it doesn't cover every area of law. There are hundreds of areas of law. So research, you have to be accountable for understanding what paralegals do in various areas of law. What do they do? What are their responsibilities? You know, I am surprised beyond my imagination. I am so surprised when I tell people, when I say something and they go, well, where will I find that? And I'll say Google. But I've done that too. I've had a mentor where I said, well, where could I see that? And she said, on my Facebook page, which should have been obvious. And so that's how people feel, is that they don't think of Google as this main research tool. Yes, you can research a lot, but I think it would benefit you to be led by a paralegal, so you know what you have to do to support the attorney and protect the attorney. And one of my students asked me, gosh, 3 years ago this September, when I first launched the class, do attorneys realize our value as paralegals? And I said, you know what? I don't care if an attorney realizes my value, as long as I realize my value. You know, it's very important that you realize your value on the job. And that's what I try to teach you. Just putting on your resume that you went through a 2-year program is not telling the attorney what you know how to do, is it? You're thinking that should, but the attorney, first of all, has had enough experience to know that is not the case, and they've hired enough people that came through a 2-year program or certificate program. And I've had potential future students email me and say, I feel like something's missing. I feel like I still don't know how I'm going to help the attorney. And that is the correct statement right there. That is a spot-on statement, because it is frankly not taught, because you're being taught by attorneys and not by paralegals. I don't know any other way to say it. That's how it is. And the schools are kind of in a corner on that because of the regulations in order to maintain their accreditation for the school, national accreditation. And my daughter explained this to me a while ago, because she has a PhD in math education. And no, she did not get that from me. But she knows that the schools can't hire people who have just a bachelor's in math education and maintain their accreditation. They have to have doctorates. And that's why they hire attorneys to teach what they do. A program that I looked at attending years and years ago, 28 or 30 years ago, in Oklahoma, was taught by somebody who had never practiced never practiced law a day in the life. Not one day. And so how can you know how that office is going to operate? You can't. What happens is programs will teach you how to be a baby attorney. That's not what the attorney needs. The attorney needs you to be able to assist him as a bona fide administrative expert. So it might be that the career is not what you thought it would be. You know, and you go in there and here you are dealing with a lot of paper, and you're on the computer dealing with files and all of that, and you're like, wow, I thought I was going to talk about the law all day. And that's not mocking anybody. That's a real assumption, right? But in the legal field, we can't assume what this career is about or what anything is about. We have to know the facts, and I just told you what the facts are. Okay, I wouldn't lead you astray. So the one thing I want to make sure of is that you don't apply for jobs that are way, way above you. And most of them are above you. But again, they're willing to take a chance on you if you can explain how you are going to help that attorney. Okay? So remember what I'm saying here. That is the truth. I want you also to look up your regulations for paralegals for the state of, and fill in the blank. Now, Lisa on yesterday's video was asking, and she's from my home state of New Jersey, was asking, where can I find this? And so I honestly have that up on my computer most of the time, my laptop. And I was looking at New Jersey's, and I'm from there. And different associations have tried to change those rules over the years. The Association for the Paralegal Association of South Jersey tried to change the rules. New Jersey is very vague. And why is that? Because attorneys don't want to box themselves in saying that, and putting a rule out there that everybody must have a 2-year degree, or everybody must have a certificate. They feel, attorneys overall feel, that that is too burdensome. That's too much of a burden on the typical worker that wants to get in this field. Okay? And they're right. What I don't want to see is people being excluded from this field because they can't pay for a degree or they can't pay for a certificate program. And that's no disrespect for anybody that is going through that. Plenty of you here are going through a program. No disrespect ever. Kudos. But that doesn't leave out the people who decide not to go that route. They might have a high school education, or they may have some college, you know, and it doesn't even pertain to the legal field. But that is not going to open the door. Having a degree is not going to make the attorney think, oh, they know how to help me. They will not think that. They've already learned that that isn't the case. So how will you convince them that you know what you're doing? You will know how to help them on day 1 and 2 when you start the job. This is part of what I teach my students. Okay? There is a tremendous amount to learn. I've had a student say to me, oh my gosh, I didn't know. So much more, learning much more than you were taught in any of those programs. So take that into account. Digest that. The lady that contacted me and said, I have tried for, I think it was 6 years, to land a job in this field after getting her degree. And when I told her, you have to let the attorney know exactly how you're going to help them in that area of law. She landed a job she didn't take my program, but she landed a job within a week. She was beyond ecstatic, rightly so. So it's not contingent on taking my course, never is. But it's there for you to help you. Okay, whatever makes you feel more confident, more comfortable. Okay? And that's why I created it. So that you wouldn't feel lost, you wouldn't feel like you were rejected and it wasn't fair. Well, life isn't fair, but boy, there are ways around that, you know, and I don't want you to give up when, you know, if you're applying in the wrong way, then you will be rejected time and time again because you're not understanding what the attorney really needs, and you're not understanding that that particular job is way beyond what you're capable of doing, and they know it. That's why you're not getting callbacks. So if I can be of any assistance while you're watching this today or later on, then make a comment on the page or come into the Paralegal Paralegal break-in group. If you are not a paralegal or if you have never worked in the legal field, you can come into that group and answer the questions that are there, because that's why I posted those questions, okay? Especially the first 2 questions. I don't allow people in unless they answer those. You don't have to give me your email address if you don't want to, but answer those first 2 questions or no entry. So I take a tough line on that. That group is not for paralegals. That group is not for anybody who has worked in the law office or corporate legal department, or nonprofit in the legal field. No, that's not who that group is for. So come in if you are a total newbie to this field, and it's paralegal break-in. Okay, now be sure, if you have not heard me say this in a video or you didn't take advantage of it, go to my website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com. Write it down and look for the number 19 up at the top. 19 alternative. Just look for that. Get that for yourself. And then there's a free chapter of my book, Legal Break-In, or you can get the whole book by clicking another tab. But there's a free chapter there for you. There is a tab for the Paralegal Inner Circle class, which launches August 22nd. So you can click that tab and look at that. Okay, it gives you a lot of information, and you'll also, if you hover over that tab, you'll see another area for the wait list. You can get on that for that class. That's just so I can send you an email that says the class is starting. Let's see what else. That's about it for today. Look around the website. Take a look around. Okay, go to the YouTube channel, Paralegal Career Mastermind, and look at all the videos. I'm pushing 400 videos there. So look at all those videos, and when you're watching them, take notes. Now, you don't have to watch them in order, but you can take notes. I've been doing videos on that channel for 3.5 years. So lots of information there as well. Okay, I'm trying to see if anybody else, sometimes Facebook will not show me the comments. So if you've made a comment, I'll see it after I get off, and then I'll respond to it. But if you have burning questions, then come into the Paralegal Break-In group, or pose the questions right on my page here at Paralegal Coffee Talk. Okay, thank you everybody for being here. I know it's not easy. You can't assume that attorneys are just going to hire you if you don't give them the information they need. That's the way it is. That, you know, they don't assume anything, and they can't read between the lines. You have to help them understand what you can do. Okay? And that is it for today. So have a great one. If you are open to praying for me, please pray for this. I've got swelling going on because of a tooth that will be taken care of August 4th, but I'm on a lot of antibiotics trying to solve this swelling. The pain is going away. Yahoo! Yay! Thank you, Lord. So have a great one, and I'll talk to you in tomorrow's video. Okay? Bye.